Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Tenna, and I'm with the boy Mike. And today we're gonna be exploring a theory. It's the boy YT Jux. I'm with the boy Neo. We got a brand new theory video on the one, and maybe not the only, Tenna. With the recent trailer that just dropped, we've received a lot of information, though it may be hidden, that we're going to try to decipher today.
We're gonna break it down.
The characters that were shown in the trailer. Specifically, that of the main villain of the chapter, Tenna. And the connection to Mike, connection to Spamton.
And why they might just be the same person. Mike and Tenna I'm talking about, not Spamton. Leave Spamton out of this, bro. So if y'all haven't picked up on the trailer, we got two designs for what we assume to be Tenna, right? The first one's in the trailer, and it's what we think was Tenna. Like it's the video of a TV screen, like grayish, navy blue / purplish rim, and a smile that's similar to the one that's on screen now. Editing Neo, show this right now, show TS right now.
And it looks very scary. It has
very sinister, yeah.
It has first of all, the smile just evokes Omega Flowey vibes right away.
Facts.
And I think that's what it's supposed to awaken in some Undertale players.
With the TV and the smile, like the glitchy TV background and the toothy smile specifically. That's definitely what it is. And also in the trailer you can see that it is a rounded smile, kind of think like Bendy in the Ink Machine, Bendy's smile.
Exactly, very sinister, and it looks very analog horror-y.
Yeah, in the trailer specifically. In
a piece of artwork that we got
for the borders, specifically in chapter 3, you can see what is presumed to be Tenna, but Tenna looks like happy. First of all, we get the body of Tenna. He's in a suit. He's got some nice shoes on. He's pimped out.
And it looks very similar to what a lot of the fan designs, actually. So,
yeah, a lot.
So shout out, y'all. You guys are right, man. You guys are right.
And also, I like to point out that the smile is different. Like, everyone...
completely different.
Yeah, everyone pointed out that, oh, he's a silly guy. So, what we're going to do is we're going to break it down for you. We're going to figure out and give y'all an explanation on why Tenna looks so different between the trailer and the ending and the borders. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And if y'all enjoy this theory,
please do like, please do subscribe, please comment, join the Discord, become a member if you really like it. And without further ado, I think we're gonna delve into it. Alright, so we're gonna start it off with what we know so far about this character, Mike. So Mike is a character that Spamton actually foreshadows in chapter 2 in his dialogue in the shop, and also during the Spamton Neo fight, and during the Spamton sweepstakes livestream. We know that Mike and Spamton were friends at one point, at least, because when Spamton speaks on Mike, it's through the friend option in dialogue. So in the story, Mike has been foreshadowed quite a few times, at least a lot more than the name Tenna, as Tenna wasn't even said until Spamton sweepstakes. But from what we can tell, they were more than likely friends at one point that became maybe enemies or just on bad terms. As we know, Spamton did say, don't trust anything you see on TV, that man's a criminal, which can allude to having a bad relationship with Spamton.
I'd also like to add, though, don't believe anything you see on TV. That he didn't actually see that. That was the brackets talking for him. True. He was glitching, he was bugging. So we have to take that point with a grain of salt, but that's definitely Toby's way of writing, either foreshadowing something that happened with Mike in relation to a TV and to not trust that thing that's in relation to TV, or to not trust Mike.
Now, in terms of what we know about Tenna is a character that was only teased during the Spamton sweepstakes.
And that one BLUESKY post from Toby.
Yeah.
That I made a video on and did like 15K
That was
views.
what started us off, actually.
Yeah, that's what started us off.
For the most part.
Yeah, there's a whole story behind there, but I'm sure
Just go watch it, low key.
Yeah, go watch it. Spamton clearly dislikes Tenna. Unlike Mike, where we think Mike...
They could have been friends.
Yeah, they could have been friends. They could still be friends. They could hate each other now. We know Spamton dislikes Tenna and even hates Tenna, as evident by the URL of the page that foreshadows Tenna being "Damn you, Tenna." And Spamton also refers to Tenna as a boob tube. I don't know.
What is that?
At first, I thought this was supposed to make Tenna a girl, but like...
He refers to Tenna as a boob tube. Like, I still don't know what that means. And he refused to elaborate on that, too.
Yeah, whatever, bro. Maybe Tenna got big ass pecs, bro.
Never know.
Maybe bro's huge. Anyways, Tenna's name likely derives from the word antenna, which were used on old TVs, like the one in the game in the Dreamer household, to catch signal to different networks and channels. This is very important for the theory, keep that in mind. This name in correlation to the TV also means that Tenna is likely who we see at the end of chapter 2, and that they are the leader of the Cathodes crew, a group that Spamton mentions in the Spamton Sweepstakes Q&A, specifically when someone brings up Mike, implying that the Cathodes crew and Mike have history, whether positive or negative, more likely negative. Mike had some history with Tenna at some point.
Yeah.
And the Cathodes crew almost sounds like a mob-like organization, like a mafia, which would be in line of the themes of the Shadowmen Dark Nerds being classic mobster-like enemies.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very classic TV trope with the mobsters and everything, but we're going to delve into that even more in the next segment. Right now! Now, as stated previously, the two supposed designs that we have for Tenna are vastly different in both their facial designs, their total designs, and their color. As mentioned earlier, like darker colors compared to brighter colors that look a lot happier than scary or darker. I think this leads into our big point that Mike and Tenna may actually be the same character in an almost good cop, bad cop kind of trope. Automatically, that makes me think of, remember that guy from the Lego movie? He was literally good cop, bad cop, and he was like split personality disorder. The reason why I think this could be, and we're going to touch on a lot of different points. Yeah, we're going to touch them.
Whoa.
We know so far that a few characters in Deltarune have had almost portray mental disorders in a way, like
Jevil and Spamton.
Like Jevil, Spamton, and even Sham in a way.
Yeah, with
being very
depression and nihilism.
Exactly, and I think that Tenna or Mike or whatever you want to call them could be representation of split personality disorder, specifically on and off camera. I think when we see Tenna in the border art, that is more or less in an on-camera design.
And we know that specific segment's going to be earlier on in chapter 3, so definitely earlier on, Tenna will be presented as a more friendly face, or should I say Tenna and Mike.
And I think Tenna may come to us at the beginning of the chapter in a more presentable, like approachable and nicer way. And then later in the chapter, we're going to see the true colors revealed. And we're going to see both sides of the split personality. We're going to see Mike and Tenna.
Yeah, but why are we making this theory? We barely have any ground to stand on for this theory.
So far, it's just a thought.
But, well, if y'all remember, I told y'all to remember the name Tenna, where it comes from. It comes from antennas. As I said previously as well, antennas switch channels and get radio frequencies to be able to have the channels like
the news to like other TV shows and different themed TV shows, let's just say.
Mm-hmm. And this could also translate into the darkener of Tenna, because Tenna is supposed to be a TV in essence. We saw wear wires taking elements from actual plugs being plugged in. We saw the Blocksters being able to connect their bodies. They act like what they are in the light world. Like even King. King is a king and acts like a king. King's a ruler, naturally. And Queen's a natural ruler as well. So it would make sense that Mike, in not only personality, but in ability, would be able to switch personalities and switch channels at will. Maybe this could even translate into like their abilities, like
like some very cool ability, like to almost
like wield different magic,
exactly,
based on what personality they are in. And This could also be like a kind of persona, not the game, but a persona, like a TV persona, like Mike being a nice guy on screen, but then backstage, that's Tenna, that's the CEO.
Exactly. That's the big boss.
Mike's the character, Tenna's the actor.
Exactly.
Type of thing. And this could be a real life parallel to controversies that happened recently IRL. For example, the cancellation of Ellen due to poor working environments on set.
There's many more examples too. Like there's tons of TV show hosts, there's tons of late night show hosts that have just been canceled or exposed for, or even just celebrities in general have been shown to be nice on camera, but when you see them in real life, they're definitely not the same person. And I think this could definitely be playing into that in more ways than one. In addition to that, Mike and Tenna are the only Chapter 3 characters that are mentioned by Spampton. If we call back to Chapter 1, where we talk to Jevil, and Jevil mentions only one character, foreshadowing for Chapter 2, which was Queen. That was the only character that was foreshadowed, and that was the big bad. Spampton has foreshadowed 2 characters, Mike and Tenna. Mainly Mike in-game, but also Tenna in the Spampton sweepstakes. That implies that Mike and Tenna would both be the main chapter boss for Chapter 3.
And whether Mike and Tenna are the same people or different, which a lot of people believe different, or there are 2 rooks in chess.
And I do agree with that in a way, but
I think the 2 of them might be represented in this one character, Tenna and Mike.
Exactly.
And I also want to say there's kind of a hole in this theory because Spampton supposedly likes Mike. So why would we be saying that they're the same person? We also got to remember that Spampton is insane. Spampton is crazy, like
literally
nuts.
Clinically insane. And I mean, we know that Spampton had relations with Mike and probably
was deceived.
Yeah, deceived, because we know, obviously, we're going to see, but we theorize that maybe, let's just say, Mike is going to be the good cop version. We theorize that Mike is going to be a good guy, a nice guy, like deceiving, convincing everybody that, you know, he's cool.
There for the greater good.
For the greater good. A good man, good TV host, someone you want to strive to be like every other TV host. And we've seen this in Toby Fox's work before with Metaton.
Yeah, except Metaton was actually a good person.
Metaton was a good person, but we saw on and off screen the difference. You know what I mean?
And a few last points. I would also like to bring up the mob vibe that the Cathodes crew implies, because Spampton says, "Don't believe anything you see on TV. That man's a criminal, I tell you, a criminal." A criminal, like as in a mobster. This could be like an organized crime type of thing that's put on with the persona of a TV show.
Exactly.
A game show. Like almost like a twisted world of entertainment where the criminals are running TV. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be really cool. And I want to go back, actually. Metaton was actually the same, but opposite. Metaton was more scary on screen, but off screen was more so a nicer, we saw the true side, was a nicer person, I guess I'll say.
And I also want to say this twisted, kind of warped world, like in the real world, the TV and movie industry would never be run by criminals.
Wait.
Right?
Wait. Actually, a big thing is that there's a lot of scandals in Hollywood, and if anything, that would be another major theme that Toby would be going for when designing this character of Mike and Tenna.
Yeah, kind of like just a corrupt world where the whole government's kind of flipped upside down. Because in Chapter 1, we had kind of like a typical tyranny. In Chapter 2, we kind of had like a more modern version of tyranny, even though Queen isn't really that bad of a person. It's just Queen's misguided. Yeah. We kind of had a misguided tyrant. In Chapter 3, we could have a completely warped world where people are enjoying this crime life. or this criminal ran world. And that also would line up with being like the themes of corruption and like being almost like a broken society, like a screwed up society, like what it's not supposed to be. And where chapter 3 is taking place, it's taking place in the Dreamer household.
Yeah.
And that is a broken place in its own right.
Yeah, a very broken home.
It's a broken family.
Toriel and Asgore have divorced, leaving their marriage in ruins.
Azriel is off to university, and that leaves Chris as the only person in the house their age, like basically fending for themselves. In a city full of monsters, Chris is completely
the only
alien.
one. Chris has no friends before chapter 1 for the most part. Chris is very lonely. And we see when they take out the soul that we are controlling, they go manic. They do crazy things. Which shows in itself that Chris is another just product of this destroyed household.
And I also want to say, lastly, never believe anything you see on TV, which implies that Tenna is a misleading and deceptive character. That is one of the biggest pinpoints in this theory.
I think that tells everything, to be honest.
Literally, never believe anything you see on TV. Literally, this guy's poker face. He literally has a poker face.
He has the Gatsby smile. He has the charming smile that would make you watch him on television, make you believe anything he's saying.
That could really explain why the two designs we have are very different, because it could be two sides of the same character. And I think this is very well done on Toby's part, because this is insane level foreshadowing. Never believe anything you see on TV.
That is just foreshadowing the deception that may unfold in chapter 3 from this character. And that's, everybody looked over that phrase like, yeah, okay, Spampton said it, but nobody really thought anything of it until we're mentioning it now. Like, don't believe anything you see on TV. That man's a criminal. Don't believe Mike.
Don't believe Tenna.
Because they're a criminal. Alright, so those are our thoughts on Tenna. Mike and Tenna.
And them being the same person. Which, it's something like I immediately noticed when I picked up on the new border designs. I saw how vastly different it was, and I thought, maybe we can make this into a theory. So yeah, I'm very happy that
I haven't really seen anybody do it too, which is honestly good. I hope you guys really enjoyed this though.
Yeah, this was a really fun theory video to make, and it's a little smaller than our usual theory videos. We've done 2 in the past, a Gaster theory video and a Night theory video. They're both amazing, and they're both really underrated compared to our other videos, so y'all should watch that.
And we have another one coming soon. It'll probably be after this, but it's also based on eyes, the depths, darkness, so
determination.
It's a lot of cool stuff. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears waxed for that,
and your mouth brushed, and your nose picked. Maybe not picked, but and you know what? And your subscribe button hit, and your like button pressed, and your comments enabled, and memberships joined if y'all really enjoyed that,
and your Discord joined.
Yeah, what we're trying to say is like, subscribe, join the Discord, become a member if you really want to, if y'all like this
type of style of content.
Yes, there will be more videos just preparing for chapter 3 and 4.
There's gonna be tons of videos, so if you guys really want to build your hype train for chapters 3 and 4,
we are the train.
Perfect channel. We drop in videos like 3-4 videos a week. What's going on? Up until like 2 months ago, we barely dropped videos.
Crazy voice crack, but okay.
I know.
Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed that. New content soon. Y'all gotta look out, because we will be streaming Deltarune chapter 3 and 4 the day of release, probably at night. So y'all gonna enjoy that, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night from Tenna. Oh wow! I know. What do I